Hi everyone and welcome to the Data Nerd channel where we help you start your data professional journey. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can get your first data analytics job with just one project. Yes, with just one project, you can land your dream job. So let's get started. You might be familiar with this problem. You want to get your first job but you don't have any experience and you need a job to get experience. Sounds like a never-ending loop, right? Sort of, but don't worry, there is a way out. Projects and portfolios are your secret weapon to get out of that loop and land your first job. Projects will show employers that you have the skills they need and that you know how to use them. Remember, your project is not the showcase of your skills, but also a proof that you can put your skills to use and produce some valuable outcome. This is especially true for data jobs. Being someone who can make nice looking charts and graphs is not enough. You need to be someone who can solve problems with data. Your project should show that you can find problems, analyze the data, and come up with solutions. That's how you stand out from the crowd and land your dream job with just one project. But how do you find or build such projects? How do you come up with those ideas that will make you shine? Don't worry. In this video, I will share you a 5-step rule that will help you brainstorm and execute awesome project ideas. These are the 5 questions that you need to ask yourself before, during, and after your project. The first questions you need to ask is, what is the problem I want to solve? Many people start their projects by checking what data they can get. They will find some data that is easy to access and then they'll think of what they can do with it. This is okay if you want to do the same project as everyone else, but if you want to stand out and have an edge in your job search, you need to think differently. If you always use the data that is already out there, like some Kaggle dataset or some common datasets like Iris dataset or Titanic datasets, you're not showing your creativity. You're also skipping the whole process of finding the data, which is a big part of being a data professional. A good data professional can find data in unusual places. One of the best qualities of a data professional is to use data that no one else thought of or knew about to get some insights. Let me show you an example that I saw on news. Salary data is hard to find, especially for specific companies and titles. There are some websites like Glassdoor or Seek that have some salary information, but they rely on people sharing their salaries. What if you can't find the salary you want on those websites? Someone had the same problem and they solved it in a smart way. She went to matrimonial sites and got the job title, company, and salary information from there. That's not something you would usually think of when you're looking for salary data, but it worked out for her, and that's how you make your project interesting and unique. They didn't start with let's see what we can do with the Glassdoor or Seek data, but were forced on finding the data to solve their problem. And that's what made this project stand out. So next time you start thinking of project ideas, keep that in mind. It's not about what data you have, but what problem you want to solve. You can then worry about getting the data later. The next question you need to ask, and often the most important one, is whether or not this problem is interesting to you. The project you're doing should be fun for you. Don't just do what everyone else is doing, like classifying the Iris dataset or predicting survival chance for Titanic passenger. Try to mix your passion or interest into your project. You might be into music, movies, sports, gardening, travel, whatever. Pick something you like and then try to find a problem in that area that you can solve with data. When your project matches your interest, you will be more eager to work harder on it and it will show in your result. Plus, you will have some domain knowledge in the area of interest that you can use in your project, and that will make your project way better. Anyone can make those graphs, but only you can add that passion and domain experience to this problem and solve it. Always remember, if the problem doesn't excite you, maybe it's not worth doing. The solution doesn't need to be groundbreaking, but it should at minimum excite you. Remember, the project is not data analytics. The project is solving the problem in the domain that you picked. The third question, and often a most challenging one, is to pick the right set of tools to build your project. Choosing the right tech stack for your project is important. You want to use tools that are suitable for your problem easy to learn and use, and are popular in the market. This is where you would not want to stand out of the crowd. You should be using the tech stack that is most common in the industry and is growing in demand. Here are some tips on choosing the right tech stack. First, do some research on what tools are commonly used in your domain or industry. You can look at job postings, online courses, blogs, podcasts to see what tools are in demand and what skills employers are looking for. Pick the tools that match your skill level and learning goals. You don't want to use tools that are either too easy for you or too hard for you. You want to use tools that challenge you and help you grow as a data professional. Choose a tech stack that is flexible and adaptable. You don't want to use tools that are too rigid or specific for your project. You also want to use tools that can work well with other tools or integrate with other platforms and services. Remember, there is no right answer or one best tech stack for a project. You have to find out what works best for you and your project. The most important thing is to make sure each tech stack you use is actually used in the industry and adds value to your resume. Now that you have found the problem that excites you and also have chosen a right tech stack to build your project, you are probably working on your project now. So here are a few questions you need to keep asking while you are working on your project. The question you need to keep asking yourself over and over again while you're doing the project is, have you actually solved the problem? The point of the project is not to make a bunch of graphs. The graphs are just part of the process. The final product is the solution, and the solution might not come from the graph alone. When you identify some patterns or trends and then produce a plot, that is not the end of it. You need to then ask yourself, so what? What does that trend mean? Most of the time, you will need to combine the information from the graph with your domain experience to solve the problem. This is why question number 2 is important in choosing your project. If you have picked a topic that you are interested in, you will most likely have some domain knowledge that you can use in your project. And when you combine that domain knowledge with the insights from the data, that will give you the solution. Again, it's about solving a problem, not making a graph. The final question, and a crucial one you need to ask yourself, is how do I show my project to the world? Many times you will finish your project but it only stays in your computer. That's no good. You have to show your work to the world. It's very easy to show your work to the world. You can just upload it to GitHub, write some nice readmes, or even better, if you want to level up your game, create a portfolio website and showcase your projects there. Again, your goal is to not become a web developer, so just use some plug and play apps to create your website and focus more on the project. If you can show your work, then a lot of questions get answered automatically. For example, if you have a well-documented project in Python, then the interviewer won't feel the need of asking you much technical things about Python. And same goes for every other thing. Documentation is also a huge part of a data professional role. If you can put up a nice summary of your project in your portfolio and write technical details on your README, you are already showcasing your documentation skills. Now that you have built your project and shown it to the world, there are still few things you can do. This is the question you can ask yourself after completing the project. Building multiple projects is cool, but sometimes you can just improve your existing projects or update your old projects to a newer stack. Technologies change all the time, and the tech stack you used to build your project a few years ago might not be that popular anymore. So you can either try to build a version 2 of the same project using new tools, or update your old project altogether to use a newer tech stack. A lot of the work in the organizations is about upgrading technology stacks, and this could be your chance to show them that you already know that process. That's all. In this video, we learned how to get your first data professional job with one project. We learned how to find unique project ideas that solve real-world problems and aligns with your passion and interest. And we also talked about choosing the right tech stack for your project. We then learned about how to know if you have actually solved the problem, as well as how do you show your project to the world. Finally, we also learned about how to keep your project up to date and update it to the latest tech stack. We hope you learned something from this video, and we'll use this 5-step technique to find your project that will land your first data analytics job. You can take a screenshot of this page and use it as a checklist while coming up with your project ideas. In our next video, we will use this 5-step process to build a real-world project, and we'll walk you through each step in that process. Until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.